this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 things that high vibrational people always do to stay in high vibration, and I'm going to share with you how you can apply it as well. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the 3 things that high vibrational people always do in order to stay in high vibration and how you can do the same thing. Now first off, let's understand that when we are in a high vibration, our frequency will then attract to us things that we want faster than ever. However, at the same time, we will naturally just feel good anyways. Like, one of the main reasons we want to attract those things into our life is so that we can quote unquote feel better. But if we could feel better now, we actually attract those things much easier anyways. So when it comes to being in high vibration, there's a couple things that when you do, it will just speed up the process, but also you will enjoy the journey along the way as well. So it's like a win, win, win all the way around. So first off, I feel like I should always show this chart just to kind of give the context. And I love this chart. So power versus force chart, here we go. This is the chart of consciousness. Shame, fear, guilt. You eventually see neutrality. Huge step neutrality is when we learn how to observe our thoughts. Then we get up to willingness. We eventually see that of acceptance, and then reasoning, or the reason, the mind, the intellect. Then there's a big jump into love, joy, peace, and enlightenment. Now, this scale of consciousness is in our life what we are shifting through. And one of the main purposes of this life on earth right now is what is going on is there is a shift in vibrational states of consciousness going on the planet right now. There are more and more people waking up to who they are. They're waking up out of the dream of the lower levels of consciousness. They're starting to understand that they can be at the effect at the cause in their life instead of at the effect. And this powerful shift that's happening is a part of a transformation of consciousness. Now what happens is as we move up the scale, we eventually get to a place to where we feel connected to other people. We will one day on this planet be majority in a level of love consciousness. And it is the destiny, or the reason everyone's here right now is because there's a quickening of vibration that's happening on the planet. Just like the Schumann resonance has increased, which is the frequency of the earth, it's the same thing for us, macrocosm, microcosm. We are, in a way, the cells on Gaia. We are these cells, and because Gaia herself, or whatever we want to call, is starting to transform, so will we as a result. So when we look at this, we see that there is shame, fear, guilt, neutrality, willingness, then reasoning, which is the intellect. So in general, people that are in a high vibration are going to be at about the 400s and above, we could say. 400s above and above is the higher vibrational states of consciousness. And being in those higher states of consciousness, it's all about understanding who we are and how we relate to our life situations. You see, there's different perspectives that as we begin to go up, you'll notice that you'll see neutrality there. At right around 250, neutrality is a huge step. I remember when I went through the experience of letting go of lower emotions that were holding me back. I let go of the anger that I felt towards my ex-stepmom for the pain that I went through in the past. I let go of a lot of emotion that I was holding on to. And in a moment back in 2012, I became aware of this perspective and I started to observe it rather than react to it. From that moment, I let go of all that. I jumped into 250 and above. Then what happened is there was another jump, and that was when I realized that my beliefs were creating my reality. So between 400 and 500, that's also a big jump, because then we see that our reality is a reflection of what we believe to be true. So most likely if you're here right now, you're into my content resonates at about 400 to 500, and now I'm starting to tip more into teaching people how to create the shift in consciousness, from going from being at the 400 of reality creation to being in the 500s of feeling more at beingness, being authentic to who you are, and really transcending the lower levels. But in general, there's certain milestones that once we hit, we begin to increase our vibration. And the first thing that high vibrational people always do is they know how to let go. How to let go of the outcome of things that are happening. How to let go of attachment to labels. Because in the 400s, that's where we're being aware that our beliefs create our reality. But sometimes if we become too attached to the labels, what happens is that ends up having power over us. By having and being attached to certain labels, we lock ourselves into that reality. And when we're attached to how things happen on the outside, remember what we're doing is that's when we're trying to say, oh, the outside has to change before I can first change, not knowing that actually the outside is a reflection of the inside. So that's something that high vibrational people know, is that it's more about letting go. If you look at this whole entire scale, the key to moving up and to raising your vibration is not to pile on a new idea. It's more so to just let go. And many enlightened people have said in the past that enlightenment is not something you attain, it is something you realize. In the same way, your natural vibration is a high level of vibration. It's just that if you're feeling lower emotions, it's because you're holding on to certain perspectives. You're holding on to certain positions, thinking that this is the way things should be. This is the way reality is. There is no way that reality should be, because reality is a reflection of what we believe to be true. So what reality is for someone may be totally different for someone else. So it's about being aware of that and simply deciding that as you become aware of these different ways you can let go of the outcome, allow the moment to be. If there's one thing I could tell you right now that high vibrational people always do as well, is they say yes to the present moment. Say yes to the present moment. When you say yes to the present moment, you allow the moment to be. Even if something happens that makes you feel resistance, you say yes to it. Even me right now, I just got done filming this whole entire video. You may have noticed a couple minutes ago there was like this little switch thing. The reason that was is because the whole video that I just filmed, the audio on it, because this thing right here went out. So I don't have audio for the whole entire rest of the video, so I had to redo it. But guess what? Instead of me getting all mad about it and be like, oh, now I got to spend another 15, 20 minutes to do it, I realized, hey, I love making videos. I'm going to say yes to this. And as I say yes to this, maybe this video will be even better than it was before. So you see, that is a key. And by me doing that, I want to share with you that that's how you can also absorb things that happen, is take them as they come and say yes to them. Because as you say yes, you're saying yes to the universe. You're saying yes to these events. And then you get more and more evidence of things that you actually like to say yes to. So now let's look at the second thing that high vibrational people always do in order to remain in a high vibration. And the second thing has to do with responsibility. Now, responsibility simply means the ability to respond. When we become aware that we have the ability to respond rather than the ability to react, because most people are just in reaction mode, stimulus response, stimulus response, stimulus response, people are at the effect of what is happening. Most people also are completely asleep to who they are as higher states of consciousness. So they just think that the shame, fear, guilt in this chart is who they are, but in actuality, it is not who they are. And when you become aware that, it's kind of like waking up from a dream. You become aware that you can steer your ship in the direction that you want. Now, here's the reason that we must take responsibility, because unless we take responsibility, we're giving our power away. If we say, well, I feel anger because of what my ex-stepmom did to me, then I'm justifying myself and staying within the perpetual loop of that story. But instead, if I realize it is what it is, I have the ability to respond to it, that is where the power is. Now, here's another thing that will help you to be in a high vibration. Treat every moment as if you chose it. Because when you do that, you're also saying yes to the present moment. But understand that you cannot change what you do not own. So when you treat it as if you chose it, you then see that you can go in the direction that you want. You can then say yes to the present moment, let go of the resistance, and by doing that, you put yourself in an experience to where you go in the direction that you want. So this is about being aware of the dynamics of how you relate to the present moment, but knowing that if you treat it as if you chose it, it makes this process so much easier. Now you may say, let me share with you something else that I haven't really shared in many YouTube videos, and it's that you chose your parents, whether you're aware of it or not. Maybe you had very abusive parents. Maybe I had an abusive ex-stepmom. You tell me I chose that? At a certain level, yes, I did. As painful as that may sound, there is purpose behind what we choose, and we do choose it at a certain level. Now, the ego might not choose it. The ego might say, well, I went through this pain, I went through this abuse. Why would I choose that? The ego may have not chose it, but the larger consciousness of who you are, the higher self, has chosen it because there is something you can grow from it. Maybe you learn more about who you really are by learning by who you are not. Maybe you learn how to transmute the pain so that you can help other people to do the same. So be aware that you treat every situation as if you chose it, and your life will begin to change. And that is something that every high vibrational person does, is they say yes to the present moment and they treat it as if they chose it. Now, the third thing that all high vibrational people do, that will also you can begin to apply and you see it transform your life, is knowing that if you want to create change in your life, you must first create change from within. So normally what people do is they're going out into the world, they're trying to change what's happening over there, and in the same way, understand the world is just a reflection. So when we're trying to change the reflection on the mirror, we know that we don't go over there and smile. We don't like try to change our expression with our hands. We know that we must first change our reflection, and then the outer mirror reality will change as well. Well, in the same way, when we go outside trying to bang around and change the outside, we end up creating resistance. Instead, change from within. That's why Gandhi said it himself. He said, in order for you to change the world, you must first change yourself. So in order to change yourself, what you do is you change the way that you relate to the world. Change the definitions you have about the way the world is. Change how you relate to those definitions and start to let them go. Let go of the labels. Allow yourself to be more so who you are. Be present to the moment. And as you change from within, by changing the way you relate, the outer reflection will begin to change as well. That's the best gift you can give to the world also, because as you do that, you raise your frequency. That is contagious and other people can feel that. But if I experience something in my life that I don't like, I look at it and I see how I can look at it in a new way. What is a new perspective I can have? How can I relate to it? How can I say yes to it and integrate it into my life? And as I do that, everything changes. But remember, our beliefs create a reality. So whatever you believe to be true is reflected back to you. So if you say, well, this is why things are happening in my life because this is the way things are, that's all a belief. And it's a self-perpetual belief that will keep it creating that experience over and over again. What you can learn to do instead is to realize that reality is just a reflection. That's all it is. Change the inner state of being, how you feel. If you change how you relate to what is happening in the outer reflection of reality, you then change your reality itself, because reality is literally just a reflection of what you believe it to be. So that is when things really begin to change. Remember, you can begin to apply these things. You can start to take more responsibility, which is the ability to respond. Treat every moment as if you chose it. Let go of what doesn't serve. Let go of the outcome. Allow the moment to be. And as you do this, you will then start to be in a higher state of consciousness, which is, remember, who you really are. So something I'm going to be doing as well is teaching people how to create the shift in consciousness. If this is something that you want to learn how to do, you can sign up for the Shift Experience, which will be live in the next couple of months. I'm creating it right now. I will also send you updates, and I send out a daily newsletter as well, showing kind of the stuff I share on YouTube channel. If you want to sign up for that, you'll see it in the top of the description box below. Also, I'll be doing more live Q&As on Instagram. So if you want to interact with me, ask me questions, you'll see that right here. Plus, I do daily content there as well, 2 videos a day. And other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Also, make sure you put on the notifications so that you can see the daily videos. In order to see the daily videos, you actually have to hit that button now. That's what YouTube has said. So hit that button to see the daily vids. And other than that, I will see you in the next vid. Peace, much love, and namaste.